Hello all, welcome to study 4 of the Solving Studies to Improve Chess Calculation series. This time I bring you a position from Alexey Troitsky. It's not the first time I cover one study from Troitsky, a very famous composer. Uh, for the ones that remember, I did a video on the series of the Rook versus Pawns and games. It was a brilliant study, also. And Troitsky, nevertheless, is not well known for pawn and games, but he also made some, and some are really interesting, like this one that I enjoy a lot. Um, he has a very important contribution for studies environment, and unfortunately he had the same fate as Leonid Kubil. If you remember the video where I brought the study from Leonid Kubil, because they both died by starvation, very unfortunate death on the siege of Leningrad, nowadays St. Petersburg. Well, let's go for the good parts and let's try to solve this one. A pawn and game, a very interesting pawn and game. So get ready, the countdown will start. And here we are to talk about solution. And the right move is to play the pawn break f6. Yes, a bit strange if you did not went into the right path, but of course, if you did solve the puzzle, then you are going to discover this one. But let's first see how we come to this brilliant first move. Uh, there are many ways to approach a starting position, and I talked about this in the guide. Remember the guide video for this series, where I talk about having some candidate moves and then starting by eliminating or approaching first the forcing moves like checks. We don't have here any checks, then captures. So king taking g2 must be one potential move to start. Then threats. I have the threat of playing a4, and then when the pawn takes, I take again, and threat to promote to a queen. So I have here one possibility, and here another from the previous capturing point. And of course, after this, I have pawn breaks like this one, this one, this one, and this one, lots of pawn breaks. After all this, I always like to add one simple thing. Because personally, I learned by experience to also start by seeing what is the opponent threats. What are the opponent threats? Like, for example, if you look this, it's very obvious that black is threatening to play king g3, and after it has a free roll of the h pawn to deliver checkmate. So, and if you count the moves, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's threatening basically mate in 5. So these are the bases to start solving the position. So let's start with the first one, taking. Well, taking is a mistake because now black can control the promotion of the a4 pawn. So going with the king near the f pawn. Now the break tries to bring an isolated passed pawn, like we see now in with the pawn in a3, and so now the king has a way, even if we delay it a bit, as a way to control, because the king is inside the square of the pawn and there's no way to promote. So taking as a first move allows basically the king to draw by controlling the breakthrough of the a pawn. But let's see then what happens if I go directly with a4. So if I go directly with a4, of course black will take, so always to win a tempo, but he'll have this one. And so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 to checkmate, and even if this pawn promotes to queen, who cares? I will win the game by checkmate. And if you look closer, I don't even need to take the pawn, because let's see. If I go directly to the mate threat, then black will be faster because white can promote to the queen, but what matters the queen if I am getting checkmated? Nothing, of course. So when we start to analyze this position, we can see that both taking the pawn and both going directly to the pawn break is not enough. And we are, after calculating this, we are in the need to find something else. And basically, if you are focusing on the mating threat, you know that you need to take this pawn as soon as possible. So what other move comes to mind to allow this? To allow taking the pawn without being mated? And you may think on this one. This is a long idea. The idea is to cut basically the path of the king to the breakthrough. So we are also threatening the breakthrough at any time, at any moment, because now this is not possible, okay? Because I will take the pawn and promote with check, so there's no threat to checkmate over here, and black is forced to take back. But now, if you notice, I am almost ready to the breakthrough, because the king now doesn't has this path to the eighth rank. But of course, it's still threatening checkmate, so I am forced now to take the pawn. And okay, if we reach here, we are half with the solution, because now the king needs, this king needs to take care of the threat. So this is an obvious move for black from now on. It needs to come back. And now I start the creation of the isolated passed pawn. The king will try to reach the pawn. Of course, you don't forget the square rule. We draw a square and we know that black king needs to be inside this square to control the promotion of the pawn. So now it seems like everything is controlled. The pawn advances again, and now we have a key moment, because, of course, if we advance, then the king keeps controlling the square. So we are inside of the draw, no win over here. So here, white needs to do something about it, and that's where, when it comes another critical move, which is to advance the d-pawn. The idea is, if black takes, then we advance the other pawn, and when black takes back, we create a barrier for this king to be able to enter the future square, because now I create another shorter square. I am threatening to promote the pawn again, and the king can't have a solution, because, of course, going here keeps the king outside the square, so white wins. And being over here, we advance, and now, because this pawn is blocking the path the king has to promote, to keep the promotion from happening, white wins. So this is the solution, and I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I have when I saw this study for the first time. It's really a pleasure to find this kind of small details, starting with this small, simple, beautiful move. Okay, see you in future studies. Bye bye.